You know what, ladies and gentlemen? I'm getting sick and tired of this, right? So, I did a story about a week ago talking about DeAndre Arnold. You know, the young 17-year-old black teen from Texas who the school board told him he will not graduate until he cut his dreadlocks. So now you have another person, his cousin, said the same thing. Now his cousin is now suspended because he's wearing dreadlocks as well, all because of the dress code. And I told you guys before, they're targeting our black children, right? So this article comes from the Atlanta Black Star. It says a Texas high school is standing firm amid furor over a school dress code policy critics say is racist and discriminatory. Now, the moms of the two teens facing disciplinary action for their refusal to cut their dreads are ready to let the controversy play out in court. Barbers Hill High School was thrust into the spotlight this week after senior student DeAndre Arnold, 18, was forced to choose when it comes to his locks or run the risk of not being able to walk with his peers at graduation. His cousin, 16-year-old Kaden Bradford, is facing similar punishment. And Bradford's mother said the teen has been told he faces suspension if he reports to campus without cutting his hair. Um, I'm gonna stop you right there. You know what they're trying to do in the state of Texas? They're trying to not let black teens graduate or not and try to suspend black teens for their dreadlocks. And I told you before, they're targeting our children when it comes to their hair. They're doing it to black girls, and now they're doing it to black boys. And I'm so glad that DeAndre Arnold said, no, I'm not going to cut my hair for you guys. And it took outside pressure now to say, let this young man graduate. Now, they're going to, now I'm watching this other story about the same story. They said even white kids have that same problem. They said one, I think it was a white boy, who have his hair long. They try to get him to cut his hair. He said he tried to cut his hair during the school policy, and they said it's not good enough. So what is good enough? And this is why I said they need to kill that policy. Seriously, they really need to kill it. So I'm going to continue reading this article. It says, my son is having the same issue as DeAndre, the teen's mother, Cindy Bradford, said, told ABC News. He's a sophomore. He's been growing his dreads out since 6th grade. Cousin DeAndre Arnold and Kaden Bradford reportedly face in-school suspension and other punishments for their refusal to cut their dreadlocks. It was shortly after Christmas break that the school's principal, Rick Canna, informed her that Kaden's hair had to be cut. Cindy Bradford said she tried to appease school officials by cornrolling her son's dreads, but to no avail. The frustrated mom said she's unsure why the Barbers Hill Independent School District is suddenly pressuring her son and nephew to change their hair after allowing them to wear the style all these years. I'm going to stop you right there. We already know why they's doing this. And like I said, you never seen, and I just found out that some white kids have that same problem. But it's just majority of the black kids. When you have these dreadlocks, when you have these cornrows or any other hairstyles, you know, they have these policies so that they can cut their hair. And people are like, well, this is not a race issue. This is not a race issue. Yes, it is a race issue. It's always been a race issue. Now you have celebrities now coming out, and I'm glad they did. One is a football player from the Houston Texans, who was a wide receiver named, I think, DeAndre Hopkins. He came out and said, don't cut your hair, DeAndre. And you have another celebrity. All celebrities is coming out and say, well, don't do it. Don't cut your hair, DeAndre. And I'm glad DeAndre said no. He was still going to continue this fight. Now, he said he had dreads last year. He took a headband and pushed them off his shoulders. The school said if he kept them up like that, it was no problem. DeAndre Arnold's mother has withheld her son from school after reportedly being given the choice to send him to an alternative school or have him reported to the daily in-school suspension if he doesn't cut his hair. I refuse to send him to ISS. He hasn't done anything wrong, Sandy Arnold told ABC News. The school dress and grooming policy, which prohibits male student hair from extending below the eyebrows and earlobes, or be gathered or worn in a style that would allow the hair to extend below the top of the t-shirt collar, was changed following a December 19, 2019 board meeting and now forbids male students from wearing adornments in their hair. So you got predominantly white students, right? You got a predominantly white school board members. It's telling them, well, this is the policy. You had to follow this policy or you're going to be suspended. Now, everybody knows that with DeAndre and his cousin, they both have, dreadlocks. They was born dreadlocks since they were young. They can't cut their hair, especially if their heritage was from the Caribbean. You can't do that. Now, it says the controversy is the latest of strings of incidents involving black students facing punishment over their hair due to policies that critics say are racially insensitive. The most prominent came in 2018 when a New Jersey high school varsity wrestler was forced to cut his dreads moments before a high-stakes match after a ref determined his hair wasn't in regulation. Hair discrimination has since become a hot-button issue, with New York and California passing legislation to ban grooming policies that unfair targeting African Americans. However, Barber Hill ISD superintendent Greg Poole insists that the policy isn't about cornrows or ethnicity, but about hair length. Poole also insists that the cousins are not suspended and 100% are allowed to report to school. We allow dreadlocks and extensions, Poole told ABC News. We have a dress code or hair length that is uniformly applied to all students of all races. We have a legal right to that expectation. Yeah, I'm gonna stop you right there. And the only reason why he said that, ladies and gentlemen, is because of all the public pressure against the school board and the principal. They say you better go ahead and let him keep his hair. You see all these, and I think it's going to be legal issues going to be involved in this. Lawyers are going to be involved in this. That's why you see him now changing his tune. At first, he want this policy to be implemented. Want them to cut their hair, right? And then now all of a sudden he said, well, no, we allow all dreadlocks and extensions, and it's all because of public pressure. Let me continue on. He said there is no injustice being done, he added. Kaden Bradford disagrees and already lawyered up over the dispute. Sandy Arnold, DeAndre's mother, said all options are on the table right now as well. Within recent days, Arnold, according to CNN, submitted an extension from the district grants parents the option of complementing of medical or religious reasons, allowing students to break the dress code in special circumstances. Arnold's father is from Trinidad, where growing dreadlock is part of their culture, Sandy Arnold said. Poole, who describes the students as great kids, told CNN the hair policy has been in place 30 years and that small changes have been made clarifying rules around the exemption forms. So that, my friend, is the end of the article. So I'm gonna go ahead and you're gonna hear this. You're gonna watch this video, but you're gonna hear the audio in reaction when I show you the video. But you will hear the audio of this story. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this. Then I'm gonna finish the rest of my commentary.
Uproar over hair. Two high school students have been told to cut their dreadlocks or risk suspension. Tonight, their parents say it's discrimination. And here's ABC's Lindsay Davis.
Two Texas teenagers are facing in-school suspensions and other disciplinary action tonight for refusing to cut their dreadlocks. 17-year-old DeAndre Arnold and his 16-year-old cousin Kaden Bradford have both been warned that the length of their dreadlocks violates the district's dress code policy. They attend Barbers Hill High School in Mont Belvieu, 30 miles east of Houston. Their family is from Trinidad, where dreadlocks are common, and they say they pin them back to comply with the dress code.
I really like that part of, Trinidadian culture, so I really embrace that.
But the district says if Arnold does not cut his hair, they won't allow him to walk at his upcoming graduation. This small Texas town is predominantly white, and some have criticized the district's policy, calling it racially insensitive. But the school district says it's a long-standing dress code standard.
We've had this policy since the inception of our district 90 years ago. This is the first instance of any accusation that our dress code is biased.
Houston Texans star receiver DeAndre Hopkins tweeted his support, saying, "Never cut your locks, DeAndre Arnold." There was similar outrage in New Jersey a little over a year ago when this video circulated of a high school wrestler forced by a referee to have his dreadlocks cut before a match. New York, New Jersey, and California have all passed legislation banning discrimination based on natural hairstyles. But again, graduation on the line in this case, David.
All right, Lindsay Davis, thank you.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You see what's going on. Now, I think if I were the legislation in the state of Texas, I would go ahead and do what New York, California, New Jersey has done, has banned discrimination against their hair. The state of Texas is going to be next in this because obviously DeAndre's graduation is on the line. And I agree with DeAndre and his cousin on this one. I would not cut my hair all because they want me to. No, I'm not doing that. Especially if I was growing it since I was a kid. No way. And now, basically, now they're gonna try to cover up. Well, you know, we've been having this policy for years and years. Are you serious? You notice that one white kid, there's one white kid on this video. Well, not that ABC News video, but on other video that I saw. Said he had the same problem, that he tried to cut his hair the length as a school policy wanted it, but they said it's not enough. So this policy have been having problems for years. So now it's going to take public pressure. It's going to take public pressure from parents that do not agree with this policy, and the school board has to make a choice. Like, if DeAndre don't graduate, then the policy has to change. That means it's going to take the Texas courts, even lawmakers, Texas lawmakers, to try to pass the same similar lawmakers like it was in New York, New Jersey, and California. That just ban all of these policies discriminating against black kids. That's the only way they can stop this. Until that happens, then, you know, they're still going to put pressure on these black kids to cut their hair, which to me is outrageous. Y'all let me know what you think about this. Like, click subscribe, and remember to click the notification bell for all the news and commentary. With that being said, this Lions Den signing off. Deuces.